This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with your host, the real Theo Harvey, and Mr. Benja. Did the wrong way. So, Mr. Benja, what's been going on with you?
What's been going on? I don't know. You want to start the podcast over again? You're pointing the wrong way. I don't know. Sorry. I was hoping we keep that fresh take last time. But yeah. So, yes, what we got, check this out, man. We got an AI watch. A lot of things going on. Sora videos coming in. Tyler Perry's got stuff to say. Sam Altman's been asking for trillions. CoffeeZilla, the, guru, checker, pocket watcher, if you will, for gurus. Not JT, the pocket watcher. Shout out to him. He says AI scares him. And we just have a little thoughts on these things. So we're going to definitely get into that. And speaking of that, some influencers are out there talking noise. They're wondering if their lives are up, their jobs are up. What's going to happen with all these influencers? Do we even need them? Everybody's losing jobs. Why not influencers? And then we're going to get into some talk on The Boys, because I saw it all late and I had thoughts. And Theo said, you know what? Let's put it up. And then we have a streaming wars update, so we'll get into a little bit of that toward the end. And that seems about it. It's a good little amount to talk about here, but we're gonna have fun with it. And Theo, how does all that sound?
Mr. Benja, I'm super excited as always. This week, Mr. Benja, a new TV show came out. Me and my kids are super happy about it, ready to watch it. Mr. Benja,
Oh
I
man.
don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I'm talking about
I was,
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I was about to guess.
Man, we only saw now, granted, we only saw the first episode, but you know how you're watching something that's so beloved and you're just like, "Oh, I want this to be good." And then it's almost what was the other one? Star Wars, the last what's it? The last Star Wars that they
The
did.
rise
What
of
was that?
the rise of Skywalker.
Yes. It was like, "Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited." And then Chewbacca dies, and then Chewbacca shows up again. Oh no, we've gone totally off the rails here. And so it was very similar experience. The spirit is there. The spirit is there. I see green shoots, if they will, basically some opportunities that get me excited. But some of the casting choices right now, I don't see it right now. The actor plays Aang. He's got to get there. Zuko, that Prince Zuko, who's a really big main protagonist and antagonist. I don't see it yet. So, like I said, the kids and the kids know it too. Just love to hear their voices because they're what's it called, Gen Alpha. So they're younger, and so they're just very blunt. This is not as good as a cartoon. Just my sister, daughter said
So,
it like
so
eight
you watched.
times.
So you watched the cartoon.
Oh yeah, we watched the whole series like during the like
Okay.
right before the pandemic. We watched at least the first one, not the Legend of Korra, but the first one. Wonderful series because we talked about it before. I watched it years ago, and it was good to rewatch it with them. And I tell you, man, it's tough. And it's then I was talking to my son. I said, we watched One Piece, and we both don't like the anime One Piece,
Yeah.
but the live action is wonderful, amazing. So it's like, well, what is going on, man, Mr. Benja? So that's my hot take as of literally last night we saw it, and so we're going to start get into it and maybe improve. But right now, I'm not feeling the love of the live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I could see that. Live action is just difficult. But you brought up One Piece again. I'm gonna say what someone told me. I almost smacked him in the mouth before I started watching One Piece. You got to wait till about episode 260 before the anime gets good. The story is still there, but like the animation and the way it flows doesn't really congeal until that time. But we'll come back to that later. Oh man, but
And I would just say this: the cartoon wasn't all great. There's some moments that's real kiddie and jokey, and so it has that little kookiness that you see in
mhm.
anime from time to time. Maybe they just gelled a lot faster, and because it was maybe run by folks. I think the creators are U.S. based, and so they understood the U.S. United States sensibility.
Oh
But
yeah.
so anyway, we'll see, man. I'm hopeful that the live action will improve. We just have to watch it more. And like you said, it might not get good. The live action might not get good. The season 3, episode 4. We're gonna see.
Yeah, that's always an interesting thing. But speaking of comic books and manga and anime, I was up here doing. We always talk about 80/20, the focus, and we talk about our guru life, marketing, and all that. And I started looking at stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm trying to be a hero in my own story. And I went back to like my high school, no, even before high school, middle school and elementary school self when I was trading comic books and my first little buds of being an entrepreneur. And I realized, no, this is all this comic book story coming back. I'm like the kid with a problem who comes up against an incident. And then I try to make things the same, can't do it. I have a challenge. Someone challenges me. And then I, I fuddle around for a little while. I get a guide, my who. And then once I find my guide, then I take that to the next level and start working and then training. Then the montage happens. And then I'm the hero of my own little story. And this happens like every week. It's great. And I was like, man, this is a whole comic thing. And I went back to an old book called Story Brand. I don't know if you ever ran across that one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Story Brand. This guy used to be a screenwriter, and he basically put together Donald Miller, I think his name is, and he put together this whole process of building a business based on a story brand, or making sure you're telling a story with your website, with your materials, that your brand is storied. So yeah, I was just going through that, and it's like that full circle moment when all your ideas are coming back to you. You're like, oh man, I had that idea before it came back, and oh yeah, and so I've just been having I needed my mind to move forward in some way. We can go over it later, but story brand really popped off in my mind, and I'm back on that tip.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard his name before. I'm on his website, and of course, he has a sales funnel. The whole marketing lingo. FYI, I have gone down that path and built out a full funnel with my team. So I keep you posted. I actually was able to finish my first book. I'm pretty excited about that. I did some freehand, but also use a lot of AI to shape it up. It turned out pretty good. So I'm super excited to get that out there, and that's going to be part of my funnel process with other things I want to add to it. So diving deep into this funnel process is very interesting for me to understand how this all works. So I'll keep you posted. We're officially going to launch Tuesday, so we're going to finish up all our ad campaigns and send it to cold traffic and get into the funnel. So super excited about that and see how that process works. But yeah, and I've been bragging it to everybody. Yeah, you can write a book in a week. Yeah, I can help you. Yeah, let me show you how to do it. It's simple. You can make all this money. I love when I get in that mode, man. We're just like, oh yeah, you can do a phantom offer. I'll show you how you can just get the market excited so they'll know that you have something to offer. If they want it, you already got people who say they'll buy something from you. So I can show you how to make it in a week and it will create a funnel. Yeah, I was getting hyped, man.
I
I
love
was
it.
on that, I was on that stuff, that good stuff, man.
I
But
love it. It's entertaining when you get hyped like that too. I'm over there. Yeah, yeah, go get them.
man, it's there's always hype before you launch. In the back of my mind, though, it's like, okay, probably gonna be a lot of optimization. We're doing some split testing, look at the data. So
Mhm.
the analytical side of me is also popping in now as we get closer to launch. And so yeah, man, it's interesting, man, this marketing thing. And I think I see why these guys, even like Dan Henry, I'm on his, we talk about this all the time. It seems like he jumps around a lot too, man. He's like the Russell Brunson before he had ClickFunnels. Just he's jumping around a lot of different things, and it's interesting to observe how he flows. I think he's in Dubai for the month, and he's doing some one-on-one coaching and group coaching overseas. While it's like the other projects he has, I'm looking at them, it's like they're not growing as fast. So it's interesting to see how these internet gurus bounce around a lot. Some just stay stable because they just know this is all they're going to ever do, especially the
Mhm.
older ones. But the younger ones, man, it's amazing how much they jump around. It just, yeah. So it's curious to see how people operate, man. And then I'm starting to put this new world of influencer marketing and uh, marketing gurus with the world I learned from corporate America, VC world, and trying to combine them both and try to, okay, I see how they all can match a little
Yeah.
bit because there's some similarities there. They just do different things, right? Instead of they have marketing events, right? They have lead gen, but it's more of a case study lead gen. So it's interesting to try to combine both sides of my brain to create something that works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get there.
Oh no, it's definitely interesting. Like we were talking about Kanye West and his rollout last week, like how you have that space, right? The marketing space, and everybody plays that formula. But then obviously that doesn't parallel to a musician exactly. It's not like, hey, go join my funnel and sign up for my email and I'll send you the album. It's just a whole different game, but
Mhm.
it's still the same steps. And I'm watching how these masters of other genres are doing it. Like Kanye shows up, album sells out. this YouTube sensation shows up, like how he builds his thing and funnelizes what he's doing basically.
Mhm.
I know this one artist, his website stays blank for basically the entire year. And then suddenly a picture shows up of of something you can buy. It's just an image, no text around it or anything. It's just an image of something you can buy. And at the bottom right corner, it's like terms and services. And so you're like, and so when it changes, people like go nuts. And the internet lights up. And by the time you click, of course, it says sold out. So it's just interesting how all this stuff relates. So I'm totally
Yeah.
with you there.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Mr. Benja, man, what else are we fascinated about today?
You were fascinated about AI. You're writing a book with it. So let's jump on with that one. It's been a big news in AI, big news for the past couple of weeks. It's just continual updates and drops. And the thing that's getting everybody hyped up is that Sora AI, man. What do you think of those videos that they're putting out? It's an OpenAI's thing, right?
Yeah, man. They dropped the bomb on us. Again, OpenAI is out. He's streets, man, and showed us the latest video, basically AI that they developed and they call it Sora. I guess it's not released to the public yet, but they put some snippets out there and everybody was just like floored at how photorealistic a lot of these videos looked at compared to some of the horrographic imaging of video AI. I guess the
Yeah.
most famous one is Will Smith eating spaghetti. I still have nightmares about that one.
Oh,
That's it. And then they had what's the other one? Pizza Funhouse. I don't know if you saw that one. That was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
scary too. So now they have photorealistic kind of videos with Sora and Mr. Benja. I was blown away, man. Some of that stuff would look really good. I mean, and like they always say, man, this is the worst this technology is ever gonna look. And so every advancement we see, we're gonna say this is the worst it's ever gonna be.
Yeah.
So I could easily see someone mocking our faces and making us seem like AI. And so it's almost there.
I got an AI ad with Elon Musk, and people in the comments were like, "This is not Elon Musk. This is fake." And other people were like, "What are you talking about? This is totally something Elon Musk would do." So it's like you had the people who believed it was Elon Musk and were buying into it. Then you had the people who were saying it wasn't Elon Musk, and then you had the obvious people in there who were trying to pump whatever scam, and they're like, "Oh, it's totally Elon." You can tell because his smile is so original, and you're like, "What does that even mean?" It's just like weird comments. You could tell somebody like either used AI or wrote,
Yeah, it is AI that's commenting. Yes.
yeah, or just send it off to some farm in Pakistan who just has people sitting around commenting. My friend actually
Wow.
bought some of those guys, by the way, for a YouTube video, and it tanked his account, so don't do that. But yeah, this text to AI thing, text to video. So you just type in what you want. And this is what a lot of directors and guys who are putting together the cinematographers do. They okay, so we want to see a this and that. You got a room full of people and you work out storyboards and visuals and the way the camera drops down. Imagine just speaking that stuff out. Where it's okay, so I want a forest scene. I need a late summer in Wisconsin kind of forest scene, and just starts updating and changing the scenery. And you just start talking and texting it out. And Tyler Perry says, you know what? I'm going to put a pause on my $800 million studio expansion plan that I had so I can evaluate AI and reevaluate all this regular technology that I'm doing. And he says, you know what? I'm also going to say, I'm not going to be hiring as many people. Jobs are going to get lost. Sorry. Ouch.
Well, yeah, Tyler Perry may not be the best example. Me and my wife had a long conversation about his latest movie and how his storylines tend to be very simplistic and he doesn't evolve for his branding so much. But I think his content is ripe for AI to kinda go in
Yeah.
and it could easily make a Tyler Perry scenario, but I digress. Yeah, man, he wasn't the only one. I think all of Hollywood, this is show versus business. All of Hollywood is now at a point where they're just, like, really starting to get a sense of what this technology can do, and to your point, creatives like maybe Soderbergh, right, who did Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and he's on the cutting edge of technologies. He might enjoy this, like you said, like a director,
Mhm.
he can create realistic backgrounds. Or you think about someone like Robert Zemeckis, right, who really dive deep into CGI and graphics. He might love it. But you're right, man. A lot of folks, man, gonna be out of a job, man, because this is something that could really take over Hollywood pretty quickly and rapidly. And don't let us fall in love, which I can see absolutely happening in probably the next year, a photorealistic avatar that's AI generated that becomes has 1,000,000 subscribers, right? And that everybody is just because we already see the live version of that, right? You showed
Mhm.
me with so how far are we from a avatar to do that? So
Wait,
it's
that already exists, right?
yes, I do know, but I'm
Okay,
talking
right.
about
Yeah,
at
you're
a
talking
grand scale. I'm talking about like where global phenomenon. This is a pop star that people want to see all the time. There's stuff like that. Yeah, there's some corners of Japan and Korea, but I'm talking about next level superstar. And if that happens, there's a movie called Simone. Did you ever seen that with Al Pacino?
no.
Yeah, it was an AI generated actress that became a worldwide phenomenon, and everybody loved her. And I think they knew she was AI, but the goal was that she became this global superstar. And so I look at this next generation of Hollywood, they're trying to pump out like the Zendayas or the Timothy Chalamets. I think that might be the last class of Hollywood stars that we get, man. The Gen Alphas. If you put someone that's entertaining in front of them on YouTube and they love them, that will be the next star, and that will not be a human. That's my prediction. Oh, I'm doing predictions in February.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if you could create like a variety show where you have one human and a bunch of AI actors or background characters around them, where it's just like Pee-wee's Playhouse almost, like people walking around, "Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see what happens when I talk to these AI characters." They don't say that, but let's see whatever it has to say, and the little weather guy comes out, "Hey, I'm blah, blah, blah." It's really, "I didn't know that. Thank you, computer, for teaching me so much." And there's so many different weird ways this could go, and I'm I don't wanna say I'm concerned, but I'm, like, super curious, and every time I see the somebody coming up with an idea, I, like, click on it and check it out. So, "Okay, yeah, I thought of that one. No, I didn't think of that one. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's really dangerous." And I have all these different thoughts about it. But you sent me this link from CoffeeZilla, who always checking on the gurus. What does he have to say? Because he said something.
Oh yeah, man. So CoffeeZilla, like you said, he's out here doing 60-minute style exposés on our favorite gurus. He did one on Grant Cardone and one other one he did it recently that was like a big takedown. But
Dan
and
Locke?
it's yeah, Dan Locke. Yep, that wasn't recent, but
Okay.
yeah, he's been out here in these streets. So anyway, CoffeeZilla does these like short little videos, and he said, "I'm afraid of AI," and he pretty much echoed everything we saying. Is basically AI could pretty much take his job, right? It could easily be. Heck, he almost seems like an AI bot, right? The way he communicates and
Yeah.
talks and his cheesiness sometimes. So yeah, so for him, this is something is very he's very concerned about, as a lot of all creators are. And we talked about this, right? Our creators, a lot of creators are leaving because of the burnout. AI doesn't burn out. This AI avatar can
Yeah.
have content going 24/7. Yeah, CoffeeZilla was very concerned and where this is going and what this could look like. And then they did, and because he exposes scams, his thing was we'll see scams just balloon, right? Because as you just showed, people didn't know who was Elon, who wasn't. And then even in the comment section, there was misinformation because there were bots fighting the folks that were claiming it wasn't Elon.
Yeah.
And imagine, Mr. Benja, we're about to hit election season. So this is going to be a F.
Oh, it's
It's
bad.
going to be, it's going to be a
Bad.
cluster.
Yeah, you're gonna
I
have
mean,
AI videos of people like Kevin Hart wearing the Trump shoes.
yeah.
Uh, and he's gonna have to be out there. "It wasn't me."
But then they say that's AI because the person that said it wasn't me was an AI. So man, these
See?
celebrities and stuff, I hope they have they need to hire us, man. All celebrities just need to hire us. We can help them. But I think they need to realize that they need to get their plan of action because you're right. I think there was one recently that happened with, I can't remember, there was a celebrity that someone it said something, was selling like mortgages or something, and then they had to take that down. Yeah, it may have been or Scarlett
I don't know.
Johansson, but one of those. But yeah, to your point, it might not even be something where the deep fakes where they're speaking and doing mannerism. It might be something as simple, like you said, he just wearing the Trump shoes, right? Or
Mhm.
they did alter the image just enough, right? Or there's a little little symbol someone does. Oh, see, he's a Proud Boy. And yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting times.
So I have two things on that. One is that we're already like you and I are we've come from the real and we didn't grow up. We grew up with a lot of analog stuff. So we're
Mm,
able to discern more about analog, digital, fake and real. And we have a certain eye for some of this stuff. A lot of people don't. They just don't have it. Either they wasn't trained, they didn't grow up using computers, they went to pharmacy school instead of NSB or CIS or whatever, and engineer computers or whatever. So they're in pharmacy. They're like, okay, I put pills in a big bottle and then put them into a little bottle. That's what I do. I don't know what AI is or which characters are different. And yes, I'm slamming all you pharmacy cats. Get at me in the comments.
counting pills.
One, two, three. I make money.
Hey, oh, I messed up.
Sorry, Mr. Wilson, you're gonna die tomorrow. Yeah, they take that very seriously. Count your pills right. Yeah, but there's the discernment and education of the people. They don't know what's real, what's not. If it's, I've seen very real things, and people are like, "That's fake," and you're like, "What are you talking about? That's clearly real." It's and
Well,
they're like,
real quick, I gotta interrupt you, but CoffeeZilla did that. He did. There was a video. There was Twitter was going around saying, "Look at this amazing AI," and he said, "Picture an Indian cop who is doing amazing things in a car." It was actually a live action movie that was made in the 90s
"Oh
of an
man,
action star from
yes,
India from
yes,
Bollywood, and people thought it was AI. So to your
yeah,
point, it was he was cracking up because even the real stuff people don't realize that's fake. So it's yeah.
yeah." So first you have the people's perceptions, right? And then a lot of people are saying we still want the human touch. We still are looking for the natural, real life things. You understand? You may think people will want that, but people usually, when a new technology comes around, it's not like they think the quote unquote real is better. They just go for what's available. Like
Mhm.
when fast food restaurants came out, everyone was like, "Oh, you can't have drive ups. People want to sit down and enjoy a meal." And they really just hammered that nobody wants drive through. And it's like, no, a lot of people do. Hey, nobody wants cheap clothes that fall apart after 2 weeks. It's like, yeah, I do. I'm only going to wear it once anyway. It's
Yeah,
fast fashion.
it's called Sheen. My
Exactly.
wife loves it.
Uh,
But you know what, Mr. Benji, you make a good point, Philip. You think human beings will always choose convenience over tradition?
it's been an incredible factor of just if you're not looking out for convenience, then you're not protecting your ideas if you're just not thinking about convenience as being a major factor.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, convenience can change behavior in a moment because now it's convenient to call people via cell phones or to text people, then that becomes a norm. And then
Mhm.
everyone does it. And then now it's standard behavior until something else comes along that's even more convenient.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree.
No, I have a family member who won't talk to me anymore because I don't want to FaceTime with her. So if pick up my FaceTime, I'm like, listen, just text me what you want. If it's a deep conversation, we'll get on. But you can't FaceTime me for something like I'm cooking rice. I don't need it.
So what's our projection, Mr. Benja? Are we bullish? Are we fearmongers here for Soros?
Uh, no, Soros. Wait, you talking
I
about
know.
George Soros? uh,
The woke agenda will be stopped by Soros.
oh my God, that the
Yes.
same thing. Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm bullish on AI. I still think we're going to see some really fundamental shifts, bigger than when electronics entered the workforce, like with computers and all the paper tracking we were doing. Bigger than that. Bigger than Lotus 123. Oh my God. The microcomputer was a huge change to things. But yeah,
Mr. Benja, you're old, man. Lotus 123. Oh my goodness.
don't sleep
Wow.
on Lotus
And
123.
the fact that I know that is even older.
Shout out to the McAfee documentary I watched last night. Yeah, I'm bullish on it. I think that it's so freeform that the amount of applications that are going to come out of this are going to multiply. You're going to see things from different countries where they have different needs and ideas about things. And it's just going to get crazy and crazier. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's going to spiral out of control. We're about to hit that singularity where we're just like, hey, we're out of control of this. We don't know what's happening. It's beyond our understanding. We're just along for the ride.
And the scary part right now too is AI, OpenAI is getting very secretive now after the big blow of Sam Altman. Yeah, he's making these big pronouncements like he wants to spend $7 trillion on chip manufacturing.
How much?
Trillion with a T. But I digress to say that, but remember the whole hubbub about OpenAI having a board that was open that's going to help focus on safety. What happened? We have no insight into what's going on with the board, who's being replaced by who. It's just business as usual, open AI, and it's secretive as ever. And they just drop stuff like this out there with no sense of so you send that out there, but they don't say anything about, okay, we're working on good thing is they didn't just drop it on people. So that's a smart thing. But are they just looking at reaction, or did they say, "Hey, we're going to put a plan together to make sure this is rolled out safely"? So it's very weird, man. Just they're very secretive, and it's getting to that corporate thing. And I think these tools are weapons of mass destruction. So that is my hesitation with some of the AIs. The people who control it
Mhm.
are the ones who are really not being as open about what's really going on behind the scenes. And that's disheartening. But on the other personal side, to your point, I'm bullish and I've been even deep and diving deeper. To your point, I'm starting using AI for more brainstorming. One feature I'm really starting to dig is the show me your reasoning,
Mhm.
and the AI is, giving me insight into its thought processes as I'm starting to do more consulting type engagements, and
Yeah.
that's helping me in in my communication style. So I'm going even harder on AI, Mr. Benja, personally, but globally, I do have some concerns about where this is all going.
Hey, I got a weapon of mass information destruction over here. I'm gonna use it, but I don't think everybody else should.
Now everybody else
No,
should.
no.
Is who controls it. Hey man, it's the tide, man. Either you ride the tide or you get pulled under. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and influencers. Where are we were talking about the AI influencer that could pop up, and is this a real concern right now? Because some of them are already burning out. They're hanging up their they're hanging up their colored lights. They're putting away the hot tub and everything. What's going on in the influencer space? Shout out to the hot tub Twitch channel.
I love it. I love it. I don't know, Mr. Benja. What do you think? I would say I'm relatively new. I was a YouTube University guy for years, but it was really during the pandemic that kind of opened my eyes of what YouTube could really be about. And then my kids watching their growth on getting tied into the influencer market. And so now hearing these influencers have been doing it for so long and really probably a lot of them probably my guess, they had explosive growth during the pandemic. Now we're 4 years since then. They're probably burnt out. They've been doing this for probably 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them are realizing, is this a sustainable path, right, to what I want to do long term? And some are realizing maybe it's not for them. And you have influencers like Heinz, who is, I didn't know this guy before, but I started looking at some of his YouTubes and really dig his vibe. More calming, relaxing vibe, not that Mr. Beast in your face style. We're gonna blow up 1,000,000 boats, and maybe one could be yours. Nah, Heinz ain't doing all that.
Heinz is more like to contrast with that. Hey, we are on a boat, and the boat is good. I really appreciate that everyone's here on the boat. Just relax with the boat. And if it blows up, it's okay. You won't get hurt. Just a little wet. We're here with Heinz. Hey, make sure you join my community. Hindsight. Yeah, it's just that guy's chill, man.
I love it, and that's the way he has to be. He should be because it's you zag when everyone zigs, right? Or you zig when everyone zags, and so Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast, right? And everybody's trying to follow that style to get more and more attention, but it's almost becomes diminishing returns. I think the more calmer, relaxing style could work, but just like anything, that could get boring too. So I don't know. And then now what I'm seeing too is we're seeing a lot of these we're seeing celebrity influencers get in the mix, right? So obviously we have the podcasters, we had first, it was just regular folks, right? The, Call Me Your Daddy podcasters, right? They got like $60 million. Joe Rogan, he was pseudo known, famous, before he got into the podcasting world.
Mhm.
But now you seeing like actors like Jason Bateman. What's their site? What's it called? I can't remember the name of their podcast, but it was Jason Bateman, Arnett, and Sean Hayes. They create their own podcast during the pandemic and sold it for $60 million. So I say that to say that the influencer market, you have these very charismatic stars and celebrities anyway, starting to create their own podcast channels, right? Like the Shea Club or Stephen A. Smith from sports. And they're becoming more popular. So it's like these influencers, like, wait a minute. Yeah, I built an audience for 10 years. I have some charisma, but now you're competing against the highest levels of charisma, people who've been on a platform, television,
Yeah.
that has nothing but gatekeepers, making sure that the content you have is at the highest quality. And now they're entering the space, and then now you have AI coming in. We just talked about, man. How did these? I see why these influencers, man, are looking at themselves. Is this something I really want to do for another 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good point, and this burnout was happening even before the issues that you said. It's wow, they've been running all these videos and tight schedules, and they were all looking to be like that Mr. Beast level, but you only had a few. It's like what, Mr. Beast, PewDiePie, like the big top guns of the influencer space. And after that, somebody like CoffeeZilla even, that's gotta be taxing on him
Mhm.
because he's not at that higher level, but he's well known. But him, I'll even throw Beyond the Trailer up in there. Like Grace will keep doing
Mhm.
her thing, but that's a hard sell, man. You gotta work at that. And she lives in New York too with that rent.
The rent too damn high. Yeah, she's out. She does it like every day. She has a live every day and she does reaction. But you can tell she's narrowed her focus. It's just mostly reaction videos and review, spoiler reviews, and that's pretty much it. But that's what I think it's a labor of love for her because I went through her content, Mr. Benja. She's been around for like almost 17 years. When she was out in these streets, man, talking to folks. I don't think she get in the streets anymore.
Yeah. And when they put the hammer down on reactions and start really pulling in the reins tight on some of that copyright, because
You think so?
they've been doing this slowly. But at some point they're just gonna be like, all right, we've said fair use and everybody's just like using our stuff for whatever. We're about to put the clamps on that. And
Mm, good, okay. I didn't see that coming, but yeah. So yeah, influence the life, Mr. Benja. Like I said, I enjoy it because as a businessman, I'm more into the cheapness of distribution, right? You be able to distribute your channel and create your community. And there's always opportunities for that. And so super excited about that. But Mr. Benja, what's funny, I think I sent this to you, is a lot of these influencers are looking for a way out and they're trying to go back to old former television, the network sitcom. Can you believe that?
oh, oh, tell me how this finishes up.
So have you watched, Abbott Elementary at all?
No, I only know the little short that oh he got money. I only know that, but that was before the show.
Yeah, Quinta, Brunson. She was a viral sensation on the internet, right?
Mhm.
Way back in, and she was on was it BuzzFeed for years doing those little silly skits with her and her crew. Funny stuff, right? Then, she got into television. People liked what she was writing and doing. So I think the first thing she did was the Black Lady Sketch Show, and that's when they saw her chops when it came to television.
I gotta look that up.
What's that?
That just sounds funny. Black Lady Sketch Show.
Wow, you never knew about that, Mr. Benja?
Nope, off my radar.
Oh, wow. Wait, I'm surprised we never talked about that. It was a funny show, man. I knew it wasn't gonna last too long, but it was a moment in time where dreams are possible and you can have a specific demographic comedy show, sketch show called the Black Lady Sketch Show. But anyway, Quinta showed up on that, and then she got a chance to pitch her sitcom about elementary school teacher and this what's really happening. It's like a mockumentary style, office style kind of comedy. Funny, but also heartwarming because it gives you a sense of what teachers are dealing with now. But I
Oh,
say all that to say, yeah, it's a good show. And it's a network show. So and she won, I think she was the first, comedy actress to win from like network, basically old school
mhm.
ABC, NBC, CBS show for 10 years. It's always been like streaming or it's been HBO or somebody like that's been winning. So anyway, what she's doing now is she's starting to bring a lot of these viral sensations from the internet onto network television, which is the old, by standards of what we watch on television. You're talking about 22 episodes in a season, 32 minutes. You got commercials, all that, man. It's not streaming. It's not one off. It's not this. And she's bringing all these viral folks into the show to get broader audiences. So it's yeah, it's here's an old pickup truck, and let's get the Kardashians in here. Let's get the shiny, fancy people to see if we can make this a little bit more energetic. So we'll see. It's almost like it become a finishing school for
Huh.
these influencers.
Has your boy Jordan the Stallion been on there? Jordan Howlett?
Not yet, but he's getting big time too. We're gonna talk a little bit about him.
Yeah. So, I've seen this guy before. He shows up in my feed a lot, but he's always got the phone. So I was out at the mall, and I don't know if you know this about malls, but come here, let me talk to you for a second. Yes, come closer. That guy. It seems like an extremely simple premise where it's very formulaic, but he does paint within the boundaries and does a lot of good creative stuff in there. But yeah, why is this guy good? I hadn't actually thought about it. I hadn't thought about it until you actually typed it out. I was like, yeah, why is he good? But he's got an appeal, man. What do you see in him? Because you brought him up.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, I put my reasons why, right? Like you said, it's a very simple premise, not a lot of bells and whistles, but within that, he's very expert. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He has a funny style of deliverance, and he has a simple value equation every time he speaks to you. And the value is usually sits, around sharing secret recipes that you can make at home. And but he tells a funny, endearing story to why how he came about figuring out this recipe or why he's delivering the recipe. He told one story about how someone was pissing him off at one, I think it was Popeyes or somebody, and they laughed at him. He said, "Oh, it's not like you're the guy that shares these secret recipes," and you show him in this bucket of chicken is this. It was just and so it's just he just very well in how he delivers his content that's entertaining but also informative, and I think that's really the best format to do. You have the style is his own style, unique style, but in there, the formula is about entertainment and information. It's a good mix.
Yeah, it's funny. It's I'm going to parallel this to early sitcoms because there's a certain vibe of reality to it. Like we know this is a real guy talking, and like sitcoms obviously weren't real, but when we were talking about Good Times last week and even Seinfeld, it's these kind of things that like, yes, we know this is set up, but it just has this veneer of being real, relatable.
Mm.
It's not trying to fake you out and say, "Hey, we're real," when we're really fake, but it's just, just understand we this is coming from a quote unquote real space. And yeah, he actually does go out and get the recipes. He's always been into food. I watched a little documentary, and him and his friends had something like the Secret Food Club or something like that. I forgot what it's called.
Mm.
But
And he's very disciplined. You saw that story about how he tried to be a MLB baseball player starting at
yeah,
16, and his story and his journey for that shows you that he'll put in the work in. And as a creative, we talked about this before. I think I asked you about this. I think that you're probably your most creative, the more constraints you have, and so the more I think he put himself in such a constraint of what he'll deliver that he became so good at delivering that, and that's what probably makes it stand out. And I think when you talk about sitcoms, they can only be on for 25 minutes or because they have commercials. And within that, they have act breaks. So they know when they're going to have something that's interesting to make you want to come back.
yeah,
So now the writer is okay, I have to write toward a goal. Even and within that, I can do whatever I want, but it
yeah,
better be interesting at this
yeah.
at the 8 minute mark, or the people gonna throw it in the trash. And then now you have other creatives looking at your 8 minutes to determine if that's great or not. And now you're battling to find out what's the best ideas. And that what makes in constraint comes creative mastery. Maybe I'll throw that out there. I like that.
Damn it, that quote was far better than anything I had. I was like, let me say something provocative about creativity, and like, you got me. Good one. But no, there's a lot to be said for that. And then it's like they always say, you can't really break the rules until you really know them. So that's one of the things I see with a lot of people out here when they're creating. They have all these tools and they're just creating random stuff. But then somebody finds a format that works, and then it becomes a discussion between the creator and the audience, where the audience is expecting certain things to happen on certain beats. They're expecting certain things to happen at certain times. They're expecting certain figures, like we were talking about the story brand earlier. They're expecting a guide to show up. They're expecting a challenge to show up. And this is the way we tell stories. It becomes a shorthand, um, a meme, a series of memes, basically, ideas. And yeah, see, whatever I was coming up with doesn't touch this. In constraint, there's creative mastery. So I'm just gonna stop right there. I'm not constraining myself here.
I love it.
Also, Kai Cenat, we didn't talk about this last week, but he made big news. He becomes Nike's first streamer signed to the brand. So Authentic Athletic Apparel has signed Kai Cenat, one of the bigger streamers out there, gets paid like I think at one point he was making 400,000 a month from Twitch and his other outlets. Yeah, Nike signed him to wear tank tops and flip flops. Not being very athletic, but kid is fit, so it works out.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have too much on this one, but you've been following this guy's career for a while. But kudos to him, man. He was at the NBA All Star Weekend. He was actually in the dunk contest, helping out one of the dunkers. So kudos. Probably put it on Twitch while he was getting dunked on. Influencers going to influence. I saw this one. Hollywood Stone just did a profile of what's that one guy? You've seen him before. He's in all those commercials now. He's got like blonde hair. He's like an influencer, comedian influencer. Dang, I can't remember his name right now. Will come to me later. But yeah, this is what we see happening. More and more influencers gonna get bigger and bigger brand deals. Mr. Beast will probably be a billionaire probably in the next 5 years, maybe three. That's why all the kids want to be influencers now, Mr. Benja. Until you know what? I do feel like this influencer market is like almost it's like anything. It's going to change because with AI, I don't know being an influencer going to be as much fun as it is now. Because
Mhm.
it's I'd have a prediction that yeah, if you didn't get in being an influencer, like a super big influencer now, and build that community and that audience, it might be a wrap to go down that route because AI might just take that over for us. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, somewhere between AI and the big corporations like ByteDance trying to steal all your data and just making everything silly. Yeah, that happened, by the way. Everybody found out that CapCut, the popular app that everybody was using, was stealing all their data, just or not just, but very similarly to the other series of apps they have, including TikTok. So interesting stuff over there. But I don't know. That's all I got on influencers things. You got more on that?
Nah, man, I think influencers are going to influence. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, you know what, dude? I watched The Boys finally. I was telling you about this. Um, The Boys Gen V. So I'd watched all of it, but I hadn't watched Gen V. I actually watched the cartoon leading up to Gen V, that precursor to the actual show.
Mhm.
And I'm watching Gen V, and in the first episode, they got this scene of a male member out there, and you're like, oh, okay, interesting. And I see the way they're presenting male genitalia and the way they do sexuality or they show sex scenes in the show, and it was a different take, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Not too concerned. It's a style. Whatever. Get all the way up to Gen V, and there's a scene where this girl is running around in a tank top, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And then I'm like, wait a minute, there is no way there was no nip slip in that. That's impossible. The way she had like this super baggy tank top kind of shirt on, and she's just running around. I'm like, no way in the world. And I'm thinking they just go all out on Gen V, right? They just show whatever. But I'm like, there's no way. And I'm mad at you for calling me out on this one. But I was like, this is crazy. I got to research this. I
Okay,
played.
Mr. Skin, I hear researching nip slips. I love it.
I went back through the scene like twice, and I was like, huh, yeah, absolutely no nip slip. And then I caught one scene where it should have been. It literally should have been, and I paused it right at the moment. Dude, it's like I saw the tape holding the shirt down so there wouldn't be a nip slip. Now, fair, To be fair, the actor in question may not have wanted to show anything. That's fine. Awesome. Go about your business. But my thinking in the show is it got me to think, wait a minute. Why is this whole idea of showing sex in a series so upside down? Not upside down like wrong, but it's showing much more male sexuality and
Much more.
nothing in terms of the female. That's why I was like, why isn't there a nip slip? And then it made me think. So there, this is extremely intentional. And I don't know if anybody's out there talking about this, but it seems like a lot of people are into it, just the idea of it. I don't know if they're actually into it, but yeah, it just jumped over the taboo of showing male nudity. So it went there a few times. Any
Mhm.
thoughts on that? Because it was just
I think there's a bigger conversation to be had. Hate to bring this out here
the diplomatic
about
voice comes in.
I know. There's a bigger conversation, and it's just this woke agenda that we hear the right say about Hollywood and how there may be over-indexing on female skewing stories, underrepresentation in stories, and it's getting out of hand. And as two woke bros, two woke Negroes, obviously I skew a little left leaning. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
But even I can tell sometimes this is a little too much. And I wonder if that's the cause of just fandom changing a little bit. Gen V is a perfect example. You called it out, Mr. Benja, when you said, "Hey, this is," because you're right. Very, they show male genitalia all the time, and typically when they show it, it's probably exploding in your face sometimes, and so that seems like a purposeful
Violently, yeah.
choice. Yes, violently. So it's like you see a dick, it's gonna blow up.
I
Sorry,
mean, yeah.
maybe beep that out, but that's what happens. But if you see, but you're not gonna see anything, and it does seem purposeful. And I wanna put that together with, some of the things that I think Grace had hinted at, Grace from Beyond the Trailer, that they had 2 recent movies that were female skewing. The plot, the storyline, the stars are all
Mhm.
females. There's a female standpoint, point of view, but guess who went to go see those movies? Not females,
Yeah,
not women. It was mostly men. Like, for instance, the Marvels, they said the box office demographic, 61% of the moviegoers were male. Only 39% were female, and
yep,
similar numbers for Madam Web, which are literally not only was it just one lead female on both movies, but there was multiple women sub leads and characters who were
yeah.
superheroes or doing something. And so, is Hollywood pushing a woke agenda, Mr. Benja, on our superhero fandom?
We did get into it, but you could even say that it just seems like somebody's trying a lot of stuff. Let's see how it works if we totally flip-flop it. Not even try to ease it in, totally flip-flop it, go hardcore in the other direction. You can even see this with AI, the Gemini, right? The Google's Gemini used to be Bard, and they're in a little bit of a stink right now because if you say, "Give me an image of a pope," I saw it in I saw a Native American pope, I saw a black pope, I saw like a Chinese pope, Asian pope. I don't actually no, there was definitely a Filipino pope. But all these ethnicities, and if you ask it to show like a white character, it'll actually say, "I'm sorry, I can't do that because we have to be sensitive about." It's really interesting stuff.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, if you haven't seen those articles, it's like, how did this slip by? How did you release this? Or how did you think that this was going to go over? And once again, my thought is no, you can't, just like the nip slips, no, you can't just think that's happening. This is intentional. They're trying something and want to see how far they can get. I don't know what it means, but from somebody who used the word woke before it got hijacked by the
Mhm.
popular left and was faithfully used by black people from do the right thing in school days, staying woke. I got problems with this. I want to know what's going on.
Oh, man. No, that's fair assessment, Mr. Benja. I wish I could tell you, but it does seem like there is a, concerted effort,
Agenda.
to agenda to
That word's always funny to me. I don't mean to throw it out there. It's
and
funny.
kudos to Lathan over at the Ringer Network, and he used to be a part of TMZ. He said at one time, like maybe a couple years ago, I heard him say on a podcast, he said, "Look, sometimes when things have been so out of balance, when we try to overcorrect, sometimes we overcorrect, right? To get it more imbalance. And so I do feel like there's somewhat of an overcorrection because I think it's so noticeable now is because you got to think a lot of these decisions that were intentional that we're seeing, like the nip slip, like the green lighting of the Marvels and the green lighting of Madam Web, were probably done in the midst of the Me Too movement, right? Or George Floyd 2020. And so those decisions were made are baked in now. And so now that culture has shifted
Mm,
a little
mm.
because of that, we're seeing like, wait a minute, why all this stuff is here? Because we made those decisions in the height of controversy, right? When things were
Yeah.
crappy. So of course we're gonna see things. And now I guarantee 2 years from now, when all the movies are back to white cis males, everybody's gonna be mad because we're making decisions
Yeah.
now based on the reactions to culture. Because it's always too because these
It's
movies take
it's it's a
2
pendulum.
years.
It's a pendulum.
Yeah, these movies take 2 years to come out and the writing and all that. There's been a big recent hubbub about I don't know if you watched True Detective as a TV show that came out on, HBO like 10 years ago with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Big success about cis white males doing detective work, being hardcore. So they had all these different iterations of it, and then recently they had a version of it where it was 2 women, one was bi and a Native American indigenous person, and one was an older white lady, and they were the leads of the
Yeah.
detective show. The creator of the so he's no longer part of the project. The creator of the original True Detective went off. He went ham on
Oh man.
the creator, who is also a woman of color, who creates the showrunner and everything. And he went off on her. And it was like, what is going on? Because there's a sense that they co-opted his storytelling, even though he's getting paid, not because he's still executive producer on the
Mhm.
concept of True Detective. His name is Nick. Dang, I can't remember his last name, but he created it. The current showrunners, well, you know what? Shoot, I need to get these names right because I want to get it right. Because I don't want people coming after me. But I would say
It
this
better
that
not be Nick Fuentes.
no, don't say that.
I will not.
Nick Palazzo. So yeah, and then Issa Lopez is the current showrunner. She's a woman of color. And then Nick Palazzo is the creator of the True Detective brand. He just went off and just said the storytelling wasn't great. And then now there's this sense of this white cis male against women creators in his playbox. It's almost like we talk about
Mhm.
one of the things I thought about too was like we talked about this too, the colorization of or making Batman black or Superman black, and what does
Yeah.
that look like? And do we need to do that to get representation?
Yeah. My short answer to that is no. And it's not because I, it's a whole hand me down. I don't want your hand me downs and second place trophy. And here we come with Captain American Falcon Black. It's
All the why all the black superheroes gotta have electricity powers?
even that little kid in Logan. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I rewatched Logan and I saw the little kid, little black kid lit up with
I
lightning. I'm like,
I could count on one hand. There's a Spawn, and then what's that dude that sits on the mountain? He's an Aborigine though, but he sits on the mountain and he teleports everybody.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, and Bishop. But what's
right.
Bishop? Oh, he's just in charge of stuff. Those are the only cool ones.
Yeah.
Storm is electricity.
And no one's talking about milestone comics, which we need to get. All right, man. You got me riled up now. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, everyone, nah, this has been great, Mr. Benja. I know we always have a good time talking about all this wonderful stuff. So, everyone, please subscribe and comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check us out also on our website, Show versus Business. We have all the latest, greatest, and information. Mr. Benja, have a good one.
Peace, my man.
Stay woke.